Well, hey neighbors, welcome to the Shed Shop in this edition of How To. Today is December 23rd, and it's about 9:30 at night. I have on my bench a STIHL MS291. I was in town trying to sell some saws, and neighbor Hayes, who owns the saw, approached me and was looking at my saws and asked me, do I work on saws? And I says, well, neighbor, I do, but I'm not taking in any new work because my health prevents me from getting my customers their stuff back in a timely manner. And he says, well, I got this saw. I think it just needs a carburetor rebuild. He says the saw runs and it just struggles to idle, and sometimes it bogs in the cut. And this saw had a scored piston, and it had a minor amount of transfer on the cylinder. Initially, as I removed the transfer, you guys will see that video. I felt we had some scratching in our cylinder plating, but as I worked on it a little more after I shut the camera off, I found that I was able to remove the transfer, and I don't feel any nail catchers. And so I'm going to go ahead and try and save my neighbor some money, but I am risking my own money because I have a $50 performance piston in this. And I did take bore measurements, and we had 46.97 and 46.92. I don't have a digital bore gauge, so I have this kind of bore gauge that you have to use calipers with, so it's not exactly accurate to the micrometer. I did a very light honing on his cylinder, and I don't normally do this type of stuff anymore because it does take a lot of time. I would do this to my personal saw maybe if I wanted to save money. And I did the video on the transfer removal because if you're working on your own stuff, you might not want to spend all the money on a brand new cylinder. If you have minor scoring or minor transfer on your cylinder, you want to attempt to remove it. The only thing is you do run the risk of putting in all the work and that saw not running right, because if you take any amount of plating off, you can cause the saw to lose power and compression, and also you can end up ruining your piston. And so I am taking a big risk, risking this $50 piston, but I am waiting for a part until January 2nd. STIHL does us dirty on these, okay? These are made of foam, and once any fuel or oil hits them, they deteriorate very rapidly. I use aftermarkets, okay? And you guys can head over to bluesaws.com. Several of the parts I got off of this saw, or got for this saw, like my bumper strips here, okay? Bluesaws.com. Jesse sells Highway, Pharmatech, and other aftermarket parts. Jesse and Scott, Jesse Basinger. And if you guys use the promo code SHEDSHOP, one word, I'll put the text here for you, SHEDSHOP, he's giving you 10% off. So all my viewers, subscribers, and local customer neighbors that go to bluesaws.com and use the promo code SHEDSHOP, you get a whopping 10% off. That's pretty big in today's industry. So I encourage you, if I don't have the damn parts you need, buy them from Jesse and Scott at bluesaws.com. He has incredibly good customer service. I'm not getting paid anything for saying this. He does give me a discount on parts, neighbors, but he's offering a very similar discount to my viewers as well. And so I think above anybody else that's selling parts right now, he's my go-to guy. If he doesn't have it, yeah, I'll get it somewhere else if I can't wait for it. But if he has it, I buy it from him. And if I'm buying something from somebody else and he sells it, and I tell him, hey, Jesse, I'm getting this for this price, he'll even take a loss on some stuff. And Jesse is not only good in the parts department of my life, but he supports me as a neighbor. He checks in on me. He asks how I'm doing. He watches my videos. And he tells me all the time, hey, if you succeed, I succeed. And so he pushes me to succeed. He encourages me to persevere, and for those things, I think above his good customer service and selling his parts as a part-time job, aside from his full-time job, I think because he's just overall a good neighbor so far, he deserves your business. So if you need saw parts, check bluesaws.com first. If he doesn't have it, email them. Say, hey, I need this part. If you're not in a hurry, he'll get it for you. If Highway sells it, if Pharmatech sells it, or any of the other companies he sells parts for sells it, and he doesn't have it in stock and you want it, even if you only want one, he'll get it in his inventory. It might take a few weeks because stuff from overseas can take a long time to get here, but he'll get it for you. So that being said, neighbors, this is just going to be an assembly. We're going to go as far as we can go. This part does not stop me from doing my assembly because I can always put this in temporarily. And we'll have a little bit of shakiness in our AV. However, It will allow me to get the saw assembled and be completely ready, and then I'll only have to remove a few screws to get our dust cover out of the way and to simply pop the new piece of this in. And so Mr. Hayes is missing his saw very much, and I did go ahead and attempt the transfer removal for him because he wanted to save money. I did have a used OEM cylinder, but that would cost him $40 more than the labor I'm going to charge him for removing the cylinder transfer, the piston transfer on the cylinder wall. And again, as I said, I'm taking a big risk, because if there is plating removed or if there is scratches in his cylinder, the saw is not going to run right. So all my time is wasted, and my $50 piston is wasted, because I can't put that on my neighbor, okay? Because I made the executive decision to go ahead and use his cylinder to try and save him $50. So I'm going to turn you down to the bench, neighbors. Hopefully I have, at the beginning of the videos, I've been working really hard to give you guys text at the beginning of the video where you can skip to if you don't want to listen to my intro and you just want to watch me build a saw. This is not any particular order. You guys tell me all the time that you like that I do things from start to finish and show you full saw rebuilds and full saw disassemblies instead of little 5 minutes do this and do that. I do that too, but I mainly do full builds. Most of the saws I do get completely torn down, because the way I see it is when I send my saws out that I build for my customers that I sell, they have to be refurbished, unless I'm just servicing them because I have to have low budget saws sometimes. But also, Hayes specifically asked, since we need to rebuild his saw, to have footage on it. And so, opposed to doing a bunch of different videos teaching you things at little bits of time, until the channel becomes more monetarily successful, this is a better use of my time to just kind of do longer videos with the full builds, because to do a bunch of short videos and then edit them separately, upload them separately, and everything else takes an astronomical amount of time. So I'm sorry, I lied to you and said 2 minutes ago we were turning down to the bench. So now, neighbors, we're going to go ahead and turn down to the bench, and we're going to get to work. Damn it, neighbors! The other thing with bluesaws.com, you guys, is everything's always packed really well. I reuse shipping materials, but I've yet to see used shipping materials. They always got a cool sticker. He always includes little stickers you can put on your workbench area if you want, and business cards. I'm surprised this box didn't have them. And I had some laying right here for you guys, but unfortunately, I can't find them. But this is a part Jesse loses money on selling me, and look how many I buy from him. 25 at a time. But he price matched the price I was getting, because I was ordering them directly from a supplier, and he price matched, and he doesn't make any money on those for me. But because I buy so much other kit from him, and I tell you guys how awesome he is, he goes ahead and matches the price for me. So that's why he's a good neighbor, and he deserves your business. Okay, so this part, so we don't lose it, to get out of the way, goes on our wrap handle. You have your wrap handle right here. And this one's going to end up popping on right here. Right there, neighbors. Get it on nice and good and snug. And then eventually, it's going to end up going into this cavity right here. Okay? It sounds like it's starting to rain outside. Like I said, fortunately, this is a part that I can still go ahead and assemble most of the saw without it being an issue. We got lots of parts here, so we're just going to start trying to make a little bit of organization. Start installing parts and getting stuff out of our way. I have rebuilt our carburetor already. And now that I realize I didn't put his damn carburetor through an ultrasonic bath. So if I have issues with the saw idling and tuning in right away, that's the first place I'll know to go. Because you neighbors will remind me, hey, Chainsaw Redeemer, you said you didn't fully rebuild that part. And the good thing is Jesse, too, all his lines are good. He's got a brand new air filter, brand new fuel filter. So oftentimes when I rebuild a saw like this for somebody, it could end up costing almost as much as the saw is new. And he told me right up front, he's like, hey man, I know this is going to cost like 75% of what a new saw would cost me, but I'd really like you to work on my stuff. And I feel very honored when my neighbors tell me stuff like that. So our flywheel is a composite flywheel. Our flywheel key is molded into our flywheel, so we'll line it up with the groove on our crankshaft. We'll go ahead and grab our flywheel nut. Possibly, it is a 13 mil. Okay, go ahead and get that started. I will turn it backwards just to get the threads lined up and then start screwing it on. Okay, I don't technically recommend you do this. You really should. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys. You should use a wrench and take you a piece of rope, okay, like so. If I can get one of these out of here. My goodness, these are all messy. Everything's messy for you guys. No matter how hard I try, I always seem to mess things up for you guys. So sorry, neighbors. You deserve so much better. Tie you a knot in it. Stick that in your combustion chamber there through your spark plug port. Okay, feed it through. And then since this is getting turned to the right, go ahead and turn it until it locks up. Okay. And then I wouldn't recommend using an impact. Hand turn this, but I'm GIMP and my carpal tunnel is really bad today. Okay, so I've been using an impact for a long time on this type of stuff. And then just turn it a little bit to the left. Take that out and set it aside because you are going to need it for your clutch side. Next, we can go ahead and take our coil. Get your magnet away for the time being. Set your coil in place. You are going to have to plug this up to your coil right here. Okay. Well, you probably should plug it up now. Okay, so that's going to get on there. Make sure your terminal's clean. And then that's going to go right there. And then these wires will set. Let's see here. These ones have a grommet they go through. I thought, boy, neighbors, I did you dirty. We got to feed these through our hole first. Okay, this way. I'm so sorry. Did you dirty, neighbors. Did me dirty, too, because I'm wasting my time. Okay, put that bottom part of the grommet in. And then carefully use you a screwdriver or some other tool to work that into its groove. Okay. This can be tedious stuff. Sometimes it does take time. It can become very frustrating. But you just got to persevere, neighbors. Nothing else you can do. Just got to keep trying. Yeah, this one's being real difficult.
You just got to work that grommet in there, neighbors. It can be a nightmare, and it likes to fight you a lot of times.
Now we can go ahead and plug our coil up. Okay, we will go in here, and our coil bolts should be separated out, but it doesn't appear that they are. Maybe that's the two bolts that were loose. No, there's one. Dion has been losing parts left and right washing saws. He put it in the wrong compartment, it looks like. So it is right here. We have a new thing of blue thread lock. Okay, so go ahead and open that up. Nip our end off here. Now I just like to use thread lock on a lot of different things when I reassemble saws, especially on vintage saws because they vibrate a lot. Okay, so we will go ahead, feed that through that wire, put it through there, line that up. And we're not going to tighten that all the way down all the way because we have to do our air gap still. Okay, so we will just get them started. Okay, there we are. Okay, and then you can use a business card. I wish I had Jesse's card. I thought I had his card here. I'm going to have to find one for you guys. But you can use a business card to set your air gap. However, I have me a nice 20 thou tool that I like using. I've always preferred the tool over the business card method. It's just my personal preference. Turn that to your magnet. Your coil will go ahead and stick through to your magnet. And then tighten these to Guten tight without stripping them out. Okay, so I'll tighten them with my drill. And then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to check them by hand. Okay, snug them up by hand. That's also why I like to use Loctite, because then you don't have to worry about over tightening and breaking screws like I do a lot. Pull your tool out. And then just kind of move your flywheel. Make sure it's not hitting your coil. Okay. We will get our wires in their groove where they're supposed to be. Hopefully. And I didn't put more Loctite on that. I probably could have, but there was already some in the hole from the other screw. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on our chain brake. Let's see. So grab your chain brake handle. You've got your lever here, they call it, I believe. That's going to go in the groove here, with the curved side goes up for your spring. Okay. And then we will have, on this particular model, it is a spring. And again, I don't know the technical name of that part, but it goes on that pin there. It will have a retaining clip to hold it in place, which goes on the end of the pin. I can usually push that on by finger. And then you will hook your spring to the lever, as well as to the pin up here. I better make sure you guys have a good view. Do you guys have a good view? You do, okay. And then next we can go ahead and put, I'm trying to look, there's always a washer, and sometimes it goes before and sometimes it goes after. On this one, I think it goes after the lever. So we'll put our lever on, or our chain brake handle on this pin here. Okay, line it up with that there. And then you have to move your part down here out of the way. Okay. And now that I'm looking, I think our spacer actually goes on first on this one. No, it does not. Okay. And then you'll put your spacer on. Okay. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think it is going to go on first on this one. I was correct. As I look at it now, that chain brake handle is pushed in all the way, so we will have to go backwards. But you guys know me. I do that a lot, don't I? That's just the story of my life. Okay, so that goes on first. It's usually plastic. This one is actually metal. Okay, and then you'll have, oh, you know what? Did us dirty. Again, going backwards some more, neighbors. Let's go backwards, okay? Let's get this out of our way again. We forgot a part that is not usually part of, it is on newer models now. STIHL has this little elbow here, if I can get it out, that we have to put on, okay? That goes like so. Okay, and then our spacer. And now we can put our chain brake handle on for the third time. Nothing new in my life. Okay. So, whoops, I've got my arm backwards. I just can't get it right tonight, guys. Got so much going on, my mind is honestly very distracted. Okay, I did just pull that that retaining clip out. I thought, but I did not. Come here, you little bastardo. Okay, I did a reaction video to a song, Empty by Letdown, that I'm trying to bring you guys, but YouTube is saying it's not ad suitable, and I've worked on that video for like 3 months. Even though I set a goal of a week, I did not succeed at meeting my weekly goal. Okay, so that goes there. And then we can go ahead. I've got my worm gear. I might as well throw that on. But I like to put a little bit, just a very light coat. Just enough to fill the threads. In this application, you do not want too much. Okay? Just enough. Just a tiny thin coat to fill my threads here. A very thin coat. I just feel like that gives it a good start to its new life. Okay? Even though it's not a brand new part. Okay? Just to reduce the friction. Okay, because we're going to beat the hell out of this saw to make sure everything works good before we send it back to our neighbor. Okay, so then we can put our spring on. And to do that, the long arm goes that way. I have a special tool for this, but you can use a flathead screwdriver. It's just a little bit more difficult than the special tool. Okay, I set my tool on my pin. And usually, I can slide it down my thing here, twist it, and it comes right out. I love that tool. Makes my life better and easier. Okay, now that that's on, we can go ahead and put our clutch on. His clutch does not need rebuilt. It's very tight, so that's reverse threaded. Go ahead and put your rope back in. On this side, I would say go ahead and use you an impact as long as you're using the rope. These flywheel keys shear very easy, so holding your flywheel like I do oftentimes is not the best idea. This is going to be a 3/4 socket. Okay, and again, it is reverse threaded, so we're going to the left. I'll just go easy until it hits my rope. It's not hitting my rope yet. I gotta push it in more. Okay, there we are. Just go ahead and tighten that up with your impact there. Remove your rope. We shouldn't need that anymore. Next, he also has, it's good a lot of times My neighbors end up having to spend $30 or $40 on that. Oh, you know what? Again, neighbors, I got to go backwards. I am not with it tonight. Not with it at all. And I've just already lost the rope with the knot in it. So here, we'll make a new one. Even though I just put it over there, it seemed to go into, oh, there it is. Since I know this one fits pretty easy, let's put that back in to remove our clutch. So we'll go to the right to remove it. I forgot what's called the rotor washer. Okay, and this will say top. Top means it needs to face out toward you. Okay, that goes under your clutch after your worm gear. And then put clutch back on. Try and do this right this time. Okay. And then with your sprocket, it's going to have a notch out. That needs to line up with your worm gear arm right there. Okay. So, take your bearing. Get you some high temp lithium grease. Okay, put it on the inside of your bearing. Put it on the outside of your bearing. Put it on the inside of your sprocket. Get you a little tool, spread it around. Okay, in this case, too much is better than not enough. Okay, spread it around the inside of your sprocket with your tool, or your bearing, I'm sorry. Use your finger, spread it around the outside. Okay. Again, in this case, too much is better than not enough. Okay, put your bearing on. Wipe your excess there. Line your notch up. Okay, slide your sprocket on. And then you're going to have what's called your retaining washer. And then you're going to have your retaining clip. Okay, take you some pliers. Put it on your crankshaft post. And just barely onto your clip. Squeeze that on. Okay. Let's see. Next, we can go ahead and install our chain tensioner. Again, more grease. I fill this cavity here. Okay. And then I put it on the gear here. On the gear here. Okay. Again, in this instance, too much is better than not enough. There is a little plastic piece. This is going to face the top. So it's going to face you. Clip it on, well, maybe. Clip it on the end of your chain tensioner here. Maybe. Might have to heat this up in hot water. It doesn't want to go on. Oh boy. Wow, my arthritic hands are really battling me today. Okay, there we are. Okay, got lots of grease on my hand. Let me wipe that off. Okay, we will go ahead and put that in. Hopefully, maybe. Okay. I'm just going to give that a gentle tap. It doesn't want to line up for some reason. There we go. Very gently, I'm tapping it. Very gently. And I'm going to use a socket right here. Just to push it in all the way. Okay. There's little notches on that portion of it. And then there is going to be, on this saw, I think it is, T20. Okay, little T20 screw. A little bit of Loctite. Okay, that will go in there. So your slide obviously has to be forward enough to be out of the way. Okay, we can go ahead and put that on. Now I'm not putting my dust cover on yet because of that part. This will be, I do need to put it on. Well, you know what, neighbors, I suppose, no, I'm going to leave it off because putting our handle on it will be a little bit easier. Plus, we forgot this part. So, your chain brake band, just hook it on there. Bring it around your sprocket, set it in its groove. Just work it around little by little. Okay. Work it down into the groove here. We got to disengage it. There we are. That will make it easier. Okay, and then again, you're going to have a T20 screw down here. Sometimes these screws are hard to get out of this case. Okay, again, a little bit of Loctite. Okay, there we are. Put that in there. Put that on good and snug. The Loctite will seal it up nice. Okay, let's see. Next, we can go ahead. I suppose we can add our muffler, because it is a lot easier to do our muffler while our stuff is off. Let's see, is this his gasket? It is not. I'm trying to recollect. I know this has the cooling shield, but I don't know if it has a gasket with it. Well, that's the wrong cap for our grease. Let's get the right cap on our grease. I just want to verify. Sometimes these have a gasket with the cooling plate, sometimes they don't. I do not specifically recollect on his. I don't work on a ton of 391s, or 291s, I'm sorry. I do a lot of 391s, but not 291s. Very similar setup. Okay, his bumper strips are in pretty good condition. These, if your chain has eaten them all up, spend the $5. I know it's expensive because of shipping, but spend the $5 or $10 it cost you and replace them. Okay, because that will protect your chassis. These plastic chassis, if you don't have those bumper strips right here, and oftentimes up here, and then sometimes on your clutch cover, your saw is liable to get destroyed. Okay, so with this, our cooling plate will go on. I just don't see, I'm not seeing that this had a muffler gasket. I believe it is just the cooling plate. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to take a wire brush and we'll clean that up just a little bit. You can use like some brake parts cleaner.
I'm just explaining of how to scrub this with a wire brush and sand it with some sandpaper, and then finer sandpaper, neighbors.
I've got to get Dion better at doing this stuff. He's been making a lot of mistakes. Oh, you know what, neighbors? We do have a gasket. I have found one. So it's going to be your cooling plate and then your gasket. This is a very thin gasket. It's not a crush gasket, so I'm going to use it again to save my neighbor $7.50. And then I did just have that other screw, and the clips are missing as well. So unfortunately, because of Dion's mistakes, I don't know if his saw had, I'll have to look at the video, because I do have the diagnostics on this on video, and see if he was missing the screws or not. But we will go ahead and get a T27. And it is easier, it's easier to get the muffler on while you're this early in the stage. Whoa, where'd our gasket go? I thought I put our gasket on. Did us dirty, neighbors. Okay, oh, no, see, this is not the gasket for this saw. Yeah, Dion is getting a lot of stuff mixed up, and it's starting to get overwhelming. I can't have these kind of mistakes from him, so we're going to have another talk, obviously. I didn't think it had a gasket. That looks like a Husqvarna gasket, honestly. So it's probably to the 372 XP that he washed. I've had pistons and carburetors come up missing. I have a Husqvarna 359. The piston has just vanished on it. Dion washed that saw. My piston is just completely gone. Cannot find it anywhere. Okay, so we'll tighten these up. These normally have clips with the muffler, but I don't see them. So again, if my neighbor had them on the saw, I will replace them free of cost. If not, I'll ask him if he wants to buy some used from me, and we'll go from there. Okay, next we can go ahead and start working back here. So we've got our tank here. Okay, but let's get this rope out of the way. Let's see here. We can go ahead and put our fuel line in our tank for now. Okay, this is a two-part fuel line. So you're going to have the shorter part that goes into your tank with the pickup body. Okay, and it's teardrop shaped. And as you can see, teardrop shaped. And y'all know me. I love seal-all for this stuff. So I will go ahead and put some seal-all on my grommet where it goes into my saw. Got to put this cap back on quickly or the stuff oozes out. Okay, just on my grommet here. Okay, I've got a lot of excess, but I'm going to wipe some off. We don't want it up here, okay? We will go ahead and feed that into our tank. I did pressure test this line while I had Hayes on the phone, and it did pass. It passed vacuum and pressure. So, fortunately, we don't have to purchase a $17 fuel line. but this just doesn't want to go in. Story of my life, can't get it in the hole. Probably why I've been single so long, neighbors. Did you like my joke? There we are. Okay. So again, once we get it in, we have to turn it the right direction. Okay, it is teardrop shaped. It has to go in there. And then you can just push that and it will go in. We'll hold that down for a second. When we put this part in, we're going to put seal all back here only. Very careful not to plug that hole up. Okay. And again, this is just insurance. This is not necessary. It's not in the service manual to do this. It is just, I discovered this product a little while back thanks to Jason at Advanced Auto. Unfortunately, he has moved on to a different job because his company did not realize how valuable he is. And he told me one day some old man told him about this and said he swore by it, and I started using it. And I love it for this type of stuff. It works so much better than like Permatex or something. And that has to go in so it follows this path. And then it's going to end up feeding up through here. We have our tank vent right here. These, I'm always very careful. They're hard to remove. But what I do to get them out is that little screwdriver you guys saw me right here with this bend in it. I use this to go in this groove. And I just pry it up. You have to be real careful, but if they pop apart, you're okay. But what you don't want is to destroy the seam right here, okay? There's usually a little film that goes in the bottom here, but it seems to always be disappeared on the saws I work on. And actually, I'm looking now. A lot of times that is what happens. It is down in the tank, it looks like. So we're going to try and recover it here. Oh, no, that is not it. I thought it was, okay? But also, Dion has left solvent on here. And also, he's gotten solvent on my O-ring. So, whether my neighbor needed it replaced or not, now I have to replace it for free. Don't you love the cost of training somebody? Okay, you guys remind me to chastise Dion for doing that with this O-ring. Okay, because when solvent hits these rubber parts, it makes them hard. Okay, these are not hard to take out. And he knows better. So, next, we're going to go ahead and take this little hook here I have. Okay, pull our fuel line out. Okay, we'll pinch it against our chassis to make it easier. And we will put our pickup body into our fuel line. Put that back in our tank. We're going to go ahead and install our tank vent here. Okay, push that in, make sure it seats in. It did. Okay, now we have this little grommet shroud here. I guess you would call it a shroud. Let's see, it needs to, your fuel line goes through here, okay? These are kind of a pain in the butt to get the fuel line in once it's on. So I'm trying to decide, given I am missing my AV mount, I think I'll be okay. So the first thing you want to do is feed your throttle lever through. Okay, you got to pull your trigger, twist your handle around here. You have this little AV spring that has to go up into its groove. Okay, and it looks like I have the screw in there currently, so I will have to remove that. It looks like it's a T20. Okay, we'll remove that. Okay, push that up into place like so. Go ahead and put us a little Loctite on there. Hopefully I don't have to remove this tank again. If I've done something backwards. When you do all kinds of different models, it's kind of hard to remember the best order to do things in. Okay, so now that's done. We do need to go ahead. Let's see. This will go on after the fact. It will clip on. We can put our other stuff in. It won't interfere with that. That will clip in that way. In that way. Let's see, we need to have our spark plug inside. Okay, get that clipped into all its grooves. Hopefully it's fighting us now. It went easy the first time. Okay, there we are. That is in all its grooves. Okay, and it's going to have two of these T20 screws. Here is one. It appears I'm missing another one because I need 3 for that dust cover. Actually, I'm sorry, that will be a recoil screw that does not go in there. So it is just one screw on this over here. Okay, so again, more Loctite. I should have took my sweater off, neighbors. It's hot as hell in here with that heater running. Bought that heater on Marketplace, but it doesn't turn off on its own. It only runs at one temperature, and that is, it never shuts off unless you shut it off, which kind of sucks. Okay, so we'll put that to good and snug. Now we will take our fuel line, okay, and it feeds through this hole right here in our chassis. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my long pliers. It would have been easier if I would have done this before I put that screw in, but no big deal. It's not that hard to get in after the fact. Whoops, damn, it came back out. Let's try that again. It wants to fight me, neighbors. It wants to be a jerk, like everything else in my life. Okay, make sure that's set in its groove in the tank down there. And now I will put this on, because like I said, it really can be a nightmare getting this fuel line hooked into this thing, okay? Because it has to go in here and then over there and then in there. And so what we do is just, let's see, the grommet goes in the middle. So we'll go on one side, hook that in. It's just easier because you have more room to work this way. Usually anyways. It wants to be a nightmare. That is the story of my life though. Get that hooked in there. This is the reality of the tedious stuff, the monotonous, sometimes aggravating stuff of small engines though, and then that will hook right in there. And then what we can do is go ahead and put our intake boot through. Okay, I like to start at the bottom where your impulse of your intake is. Use your fingers if you can. It's always best to avoid pliers on this, but I almost always end up, unless I use my special little tools, which I don't have on this one, I almost always have to use pliers. Fortunately, we did not there. Okay, so we've got our fuel line. That will be our impulse down there. And then we will have, I'd say we can, it looks like we can go ahead and add our wrap handle. Okay, so flip your saw forward here. Kind of slide your wrap handle over everything. Okay. Get that spring up above your cylinder, up here, that AV spring. Well, hopefully, again. Okay. It's being a little bit of a nightmare too. It's just kind of got to just finagle things together a little bits at a time. Okay, that goes there. Oh, you know what? The most important thing is down here, we've got to get this grommet in first. It probably would have been easier, I think, if I remember right now. It's easier to do the wrap before the tank, but let's start over. Okay. Sorry guys, kind of embarrassed of myself now. Okay, get that AV stop there in its hole. Okay, just kind of got to work it in. Okay, once, come on, get in there, you little bastard. Okay, tilt your tank back. That little bastard popped out some more again. It wants to be an arsehole. Oh, damn, there we go. Okay, and then compress that spring. Okay, come on, get that in. Okay, and then your tank will hook in there. And now we're doing better. Now get that onto your handle there, like so. Okay, and then go ahead and start putting you some screws in for your wrap. Okay, it's going to be 5 screws total. We've got 4 coarse thread. One of them is going to be pointy. This is your chain catch one. So again, we want to use our Loctite. Okay. I'm only putting that in first because I didn't have my bit in my drill already. Pull your shroud back a little bit. It is flexible. That is not going in easily like it should. Okay, it's not going easy. We're gonna have to use an impact, and hopefully it doesn't strip out on us. And not, that's my life. Dropping things all the time because I can't feel my hands. I'm not quite sure why that didn't just go in smoothly. Okay, that's nice and tight now. Okay, we'll go ahead and Loctite the rest of our bolts while we're here. Again, that AV thing is just going to slide in right there, and that's why I said I can just use this one. I've ordered the other one, but it won't come until January 2nd, so we will 100% be putting the new one in there. But this will allow us to see, is our saw going to run and everything, and we will be able to go ahead and start our break-in process. We just have to be careful with the saw not to let it rattle too much. The idle break-in tank, I will idle it through an entire tank. That will be the easiest part because we don't have to worry about that AV mount causing damage, being broken like that. Boy, guys, this is my life. I just drop everything. This is all day long. This is the way things go for me. It never ends. It never changes. I wonder why I keep doing this, because it's just hell always. But I guess it's better than shooting heroin, right? Even though it seems to be just nothing but difficulties. 1, 2. We're missing a screw again. There it is. He put it in the wrong compartment again. 3. See, that's the thing. It makes it difficult for me when he washes hardware and puts it in the wrong compartment. I like things organized and labeled. But Dion has not been doing as good as he was before our incident where we both got locked up. So we'll do that. Then our chain catch can go on. His chain catch also, fortunately, was in good condition. So we'll put that on. Oh, I've already got Loctite on that. And that will screw into our handle there. You don't want to over tighten that one. Those do strip out very easily. Now we can go and put our dust cover on, even though we're going to have to take it off later. So it's got little notches here. You got to put the bottom in first, and then it should just go right into place. Should. Keyword should. There we are. Okay, and then it will have 3 T20 coarse thread screws here. 1, 2, 3. Since I have to take this back off, we're not going to do Loctite here, okay? Because we know on January 2nd, when our new part comes in, we're going to be taking this dust cover off, okay? Okay, so again, as I said, this is in good shape. You can use Loctite on this to help secure it in. Okay, I don't usually do it because if these go in loose, I just replace them. Okay, that one went in kind of loose, so I'll probably have to replace it because I'll leave this sprocket cover off when I do my idle tank because I like to check things. I like to see if my clutch is making my sprocket spin when it's not supposed to. I like to make sure my chain tensioner doesn't rattle out. I like to make sure this stuff doesn't pop off while my saw is idling through its first tank. Just various little things you got to think about. Next, we are almost there, neighbors. We can go ahead and put our recoil on. Okay. So lift your chain brake handle a little bit. Slide that over your recoil. Check your rope is engaging. And then we've got our, it looks like we're missing a recoil screw here. No, we're not. I just couldn't see it. Okay, it's hiding. So these are all the same, but you have your collar screw up here at the top. So I'll put the collar in. We will go ahead and Loctite all 4 screws. Okay. How are we doing on time? 46 minutes, not too bad. I did have the motor installed already. So we're probably a couple hours into reassembly total. Maybe 2 hours max. Of course, that doesn't count the disassembly time, the cleanup, and all that good stuff. Okay, but I don't think this is too bad. I'm doing pretty good on time, even given the problems. Okay, if I can get this video ended within the hour, I'll be happy. Okay, so there's all that. Those are also T27s. So get our T27 bit back on here. I like to go corner to corner with this, so I'll just snug it up. Okay, go to the next corner. And this just kind of makes sure it goes on evenly. And then I'll go full torque on the rest of them. Okay. And then we'll go around one more time, make sure everything is torqued right. The drill is set for torque for these screws on this saw. Okay, they're good and tight. Okay, very good. Now we can go ahead and think about our carburetor and everything else. We have a grommet here. Okay, see this again. This doesn't go to this saw. This goes to another saw, yet it's in this container, and it shouldn't be. And now I have to figure out what saw that goes to. Okay, a little bit frustrating, Dion. I know you don't watch my videos, buddy, but I wish you would, because you would see this stuff and you would learn and you could improve. Okay, so that goes on first, and then our rebuilt carburetor will go on. Okay. Hopefully, if I can get it in the right hole. See, I told you guys, story of my life, I can't get it in the hole. Okay, and then this goes on. Oops, it came unplugged. So we'll have to replug that up, which is going to be a nightmare. We're going to have to bend this back down.
Just trying to work that clip in there, neighbors, and get it to be secure. It's a nightmare. What do you think of these voiceovers with the fast forward work?
I got to find my rubber parts here, you guys. I don't know what the hell he did with them. I get overwhelmed when he does stuff against my wishes. I really do. I don't like it. I tell him not to take these parts out. Specifically tell him not to take them out. Okay. See, now I have no idea genuinely where this AV mount goes. He took it out and I don't know where it goes. And that is going to require me to go backwards, because I don't know where that goes. I really have no idea, because I never take it off. There's a reason I don't take it off. Okay, we're going to have to use press oil to install these.
I'm just griping here about Dion not following my instructions while I'll fight with these rubber pieces.
Just like he was washing a 372 before this saw. This saw was supposed to be, I told him how important it was. Hayes put a $200 deposit down for his parts. And anybody that puts a deposit on their saw, their priority. Okay, so we got that. This is bothering me though. I don't know where that goes. Where'd that go? I know this is an AV mount. I don't know where it goes. Okay, I don't know where it goes. I am guessing it goes back there behind our recoil, and probably behind our coil and everything else. And he's going to get upset that I'm about to go wake him up to show him how much extra work he caused me by taking a part out that I tell him not to take out. But that's what happens. You don't do your job right with me, I have to tell you. Okay? I'm paying for all your living expenses. I expect perfection. I do. When it comes to work, I expect perfection. Okay, there we are. Hook that in there. Hook this one in here. Okay. Damn it. See, now I'm distracted thinking about, do I wake him up or do I wait until tomorrow? I think the answer is I'll wake him up and tell him what he did wrong. Okay? It's important. If you're causing me extra work because you're not following direction, then I need to tell you, because I don't like holding shit in, because I'll be thinking about it all night long. Okay, get that in the groove here. Okay, our throttle. Our throttle is not in its linkage there. It has to sit in that shroud we put in. Okay, now it is. Throttle's working. Okay, let's go ahead and put our two 8mm nuts on. I just took those out. You do have to use narrow socket, or what I use is I have a tool here that fits into these. Oh, no, not on this one. Yes, okay, because this goes on next. It only goes on one way. The port has to line up with the hole there. Okay, so it will only fit one way. And then if you don't have a narrow socket, your regular socket's not going to fit in there. Okay, so that will go on. Okay, and then this socket, or this 8mm on the other side. Okay, these are going to be good and snug. We don't want to over tighten these, okay, because it's a lot of rubber grommets and everything. We just want to snug them up so there's a seal, okay, So we don't want to over tighten these. Hold everything together as you tighten them so it doesn't twist on you. Okay, don't over tighten. Don't over tighten. A gentle choke, not a tight choke. Okay, there we are on that. And then your air filter goes on. Okay, we do have to clean this one a little better. Did you neighbors realize I've had the light on the camera this whole time, so the battery's probably died? So I told Dion what happened, and fortunately he took it very well. The last time I had to wake him up to show him something, it turned into an argument. Okay, so we're gonna have to go backwards to put this little AV mount in, because we can't leave that out on our neighbor. And then, as I said, we took our gas cap off, and we're gonna replace the O-ring for our neighbor. And since it got hit with solvent, my neighbor doesn't have to pay for that, because I don't know if that was bad or not. Okay, but I'm not going to put it back on the saw after it's been hit with solvent, because it makes it hard. Okay, so now we got to take our coil out.
So we are going backwards here. We have to remove our coil and remove that air shroud to put that AV mount in. And so we have to re-Loctite our coil bolts when we put them back on. And again, this rubber AV mount was a nightmare, 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 neighbors.
Kind of upset. I've got a neighbor that's got 2 saws here, and I'm supposed to sell them for him, but he hasn't given me his parts deposit like he's supposed to. I ordered all his parts. Money is extremely tight right now, and he's normally one of my best spending customers, but he's told me 2 weeks in a row, I'm gonna send you a parts deposit this week, because his parts are like $600, and normally I don't ask my neighbors for money in advance. But when money is this tight, I have to. Especially when their parts are that much. Did you guys see where that other coil bolt went? I have lost it. There it is. It's hiding in the saw up here. Okay. There it is. More Loctite. Okay. There we are. There we are. We'll get our gap setter again. Reset our gap once more. We're almost done, neighbors. Do we have any troopers that have made it to the end? Go in the comments and tell me I'm a trooper, neighbor. I was here with you to the end. I watched the whole damn video, or I listened to the whole damn video while I tinkered in my shop. Okay, so more Loctite on this biatch. I hate that I've had to go backwards, but hopefully it's a learning experience for Dion and me. We are both learning how to improve our character, communicate better, treat each other better, acknowledge each other's feelings better, and not go with the mindset that men are just supposed to be rough and tough assholes that don't share emotions and aren't allowed to be sensitive and aren't allowed to have feelings and aren't allowed to talk about their feelings and all that good stuff. Okay, go ahead and re-Loctite these bolts. And then the last thing we have to put on is these still have Loctite on them, and they are coarse thread in the plastic. I mean, it's not common for these to rattle out. So, for sake of time, honestly, at the moment, if they're going to rattle out, they're going to rattle out while they're here at my shop. We do have to do that gas cap thing, but I'm not going to do that right now, you guys. I've shown you how to replace those O-rings. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, that's an OEM. We got an OEM C-clip in there, and I was like, oh, shit. But I have a aftermarket piston in there, so it had different clips. Okay, where is our spike, you guys? Do you see our spike? Here it is, under the MS, under the mess. Okay, we will Loctite these. Okay. And then I'm trying to think what I've done with Hayes bar and chain, because that will be the final thing. We'll bar this bad boy up. Like I said, he's got a brand new sprocket already, so fortunately we didn't have to replace that. Oh, and he's also got a brand new spark plug, so fortunately we don't have to charge him $6.50 for that. Okay, so we'll put our spark plug in. Okay. Again, I should be able to turn this with my fingers, but my carpal tunnel and arthritis is kind of preventing me from doing simple things that most people can do. And you do want your spark plug guten tight, guten tight, guten tight. Okay. And for me, that means using all of my strength, unfortunately. Okay, plug that up. All right. Then you've got your top cover, which has collar screws in it that are pre-formed. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And if we feel good tomorrow, we'll be able to test Hayes' saw. So we'll send him a picture tonight. Say, here's your saw, neighbor. And let him know the progress, because we try to communicate with our neighbors very good and keep them informed and updated. By the way, Jimbus Maximus, I haven't put the 025. The vibration from your saw kills me. So I have not put the 25-inch on your saw and tested it yet. But with shipping with Christmas and everything, I figured you've waited so damn long, a couple more days to ensure that the saw arrives to you without issues. I just want to run it more, neighbor, before I send it to you. I just really want to make sure. I'm so scared that something will go wrong, that everything's perfectly right here, and then as soon as the damn saw gets to you, that everything's going to go to catastrophe. I don't want that. So I just need to run it with that 25, tune it with the 25, neighbor, because I know that's what you're going to use more than the 18-inch. And then I'll send your chit to you, okay? So that's going to be it, neighbors. Hour and 3 minutes. Not the best, but not terrible. That's how you assemble an MS291. And persevere through all the problems that keep happening. I get mad a lot. I get frustrated a lot. But that's because my life is non-stop. As soon as I start my day and put my hands to something, bolts won't go in when they should go in. Parts don't fix. Parts break. You can see a 20-inch bar and chain for an MS390 all over the internet nonstop. And then as soon as you need to order one of an Oregon or a Pharmatech, that's the one you want, it ceases to exist on the internet. That's my life. It is astronomically impossible to explain to you the amount of things that go wrong per day in my life. But I hope putting some of my struggles out there for you guys, even though it's embarrassing sometimes because I catch attitude and I act like a little bitch, so to speak. I hope it helps you guys persevere. I hope it helps you guys feel like, wow, shit, my life ain't so bad. And then it will make it worth it. So you guys being here, viewing, liking, commenting, sending donations, buying stuff from me, being members, you guys are my heartbeat. Seriously, you might not believe that, but you guys are my heartbeat. Okay, you're what keeps me going. You're what helps me say, okay, I gotta do this. Seeing my neighbors encourage me, and saying that my channel makes your life better, that my videos help you, that you like putting my videos on while you tinker, that other guys don't show you start to finish and you like that. The comments you guys leave me are fantastic. It's so motivating. Some days it's hard to get motivated, but that's on me, not on you guys. So I want to thank you from all of my heart. I want to thank you guys for your support. The ones that are still here and have lasted over an hour and 5 minutes. Thank you, you guys. You guys mean the world to me. And so for now, how about I just say, instead of I love all 8 billion of you, even though I suck at it, how about I say I love all 1,200 of you subscribers, even though I suck at it. And I love a few of you a little bit more. Jimbus, Rob Weaver, Adam Hayes, Toyota Coupe, Robert Dancho, Daryl Johnson, Sarah Weaver, so many more, Blanche and Deborah and Jenny, my newer subscribers. You guys make my life better. So thank you for that. My life's hard. And having a fucked up brain like I do, ADHD, whatever you want to call it, bipolar, manic depressant, fucking intermittent explosive disorder, all that bullshit they say I have. I don't hide it, because we all got ADD, right? We all have highs and lows, right? So without you guys, I couldn't keep doing this shit. So thank you. That's why I'm still doing it. Because you guys encourage me. So I love you, neighbors. Until next time, y'all say it with me. Be kind to one another. Everyone's facing a battle. Let's keep persevering, damn it.